Hello guys, welcome to the channel. I know I've been absent for a very long time. It's school stuff. But anyways, what matters is that I'm back. So the topic for today is hustle culture. And I personally am guilty of this. And for those of you who don't know what hustling is, it's simply working for the sake of working or studying for the sake of studying. Studying with no organizational skills, and you know, you just end up having a lot of work to do, and you get that illusion of being productive because you're doing a lot of stuff, you're working a lot, which in fact is not the case. Being productive means producing more and not necessarily working more. So you can be working less or having a strategy for studying and being productive because you get like the best results you can. And essentially, what a hustle or a workaholic does is he works a lot but doesn't get the best results. And that was what happened with me for the past, I think, for 3 years. Until I discovered new ways of studying with, productivity YouTubers, self help, personality. I want to tell my story in this video. This video is going to be very different from the previous ones. But anyway, so I'm currently doing grade 12, but when the school I go to has this system, has two systems, national and Cambridge. While doing national, you can do Cambridge as well. But when you reach the 10th grade, you can either choose continue the 10th in national curriculum or go to IGCSE, which is an international curriculum, one that is specialized for Cambridge students. So, with this adventurous spirit that I have, academic adventurous spirit that I have, I decided to join IGCSE, and little did I know it was not going to be easy. And when I went there in the first day, all teachers were saying the same thing. This is not going to be an easy journey. You'll need to study a lot. You'll need to know how to study. And that is something I didn't know at the time. So, first day, second, third, all right, I'm good. I'm seeing new teachers, new pupils, new colleagues. But after the first week in IGCSE, I realized that, well, this is not for me. I was receiving a lot of assignments. Like, I literally got home and started doing homeworks and would finish them like 11 p.m. or like 12 a.m. in the morning. And that was something that I was not used to doing. Usually I would sleep at 9 p.m. at the time, but when I entered IGCSE, I started sleeping very late because of schoolwork. And because of this amount of work, I was with no energy. I felt very tired. I was not productive. I just went there to school and started listening to the teachers, started copying the notes, got home, homeworks, 12 a.m., go to school, got home, homeworks, this cycle. And I started becoming a hustler. Essentially, I just started doing homeworks and nothing else. And I know for a fact that many students around the world that are in this program of IGCS. I know how you feel, so don't be alone. I know that it's not easy. And at the time, I did not have any time management skills. No one had teach me that, and this is a big problem. I don't know why schools don't teach students like how to manage the time. Essentially what happens is you go to school and you must follow this schedule that the institution has prepared without your consent. You just basically follow the rules of the system. And because of that, I wasn't prepared to, enter IGCS. And I'm not the only one. I can say that since I have this academic adventurous spirit, I remained in IGCS for 3 weeks. We started having midterms there. After the first day, I forgot to say this. After the first day, there were a lot of students in the class, but like half of the class was empty after the first day. After the second day, more two students quit the day most students quit, and I quit at the third week, in the middle of the midterms. I saw that, well, this isn't for me. And at the time, I was sitting with a colleague, and this friend of mine is still in the Cambridge curriculum. Now he passed to S level, and I mean, this is for him. I believe this is for him because he's in AS level and he's having brilliant marks, and he had like 96 average. Like, can you believe that? And I knew for a fact that I wouldn't have like 96 average. So I decided to quit because I saw that IGCS is not for me. When I went to the classes, the last class I attended, I remember very well that the teacher was explaining, but nothing was entering my head. I was just there sitting down and contemplating my life. What was I doing there? What am I going to do in the future? At the time, I did not have a clear plan. And since I was 15, I believe this is the age where we start thinking about our future. 15 to 16, you start thinking about our future. So at the time, I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. So I quitted at the third week. I rejoined the national curriculum, and my friends just like, they were clapping, they were laughing, they were like, we knew that you will give up eventually, but congrats, Robson, at least you were there for like 3 weeks, and most of our friends were there for like a day or two, so that shows that you're persistent. And this is true. I'm a very persistent guy, and I don't give up very easily, but sometimes you have to give up. We all know that quote, like, never give up, but sometimes you have to give up, and I learned a lesson. I learned that IGCS was not for me, and that just turned me into a hustler. So from that day on, when I entered the 10th grade, when I abandoned IGCS, the 10th grade, I started seeing that there was a big problem with studying a lot, or being a hustler, or being a workaholic. You sacrifice your life basically to study. And I mean, I know there are people that enjoy IGCS, but I feel like the majority of people that are there just want to have the best grade and have this illusion of having a big future. Whereas there are countless people that did IGCS, went to the best colleges in the world, and now they have no job. And I don't want to discourage you from doing IGCS. No, this is not my intention. I just want to, give you a warning that it's not for everyone. And if you do become a hustler, you will damage your health. You're essentially working or studying while unhealthy. So from the day I entered national, I returned to national curriculum. I started relying on drive and not motivation. What is the difference between drive and motivation? Motivation is essentially the willing to do something. When you're willing to wash the dishes, when you're willing to study, when you're willing to, do any activity. But drive is when you do something to achieve a goal. When you have a goal in mind, or you have a big and clear vision. For example, I know that whenever I open maths book, I'm going to study maths because I want to achieve this. I have my own goals and I have my own aspirations. So whenever I do something, I have a clear vision of why I'm doing that for. This is drive. Motivation, on the other hand, doesn't always have a goal in mind. You need to watch motivational videos on YouTube. You need to, be inspired by someone to do the task, and after a few seconds or minutes, your motivation just collapses. Whereas drive doesn't. Drive is something permanent, I can say. So I started relying in drive for that. Though there are some examples of workaholics and hustlers that are very successful in life, such as Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, which I admire a lot because he has done 1,000+ chapters of his manga, and that is like a crazy achievement. Like, who does it? Who writes 1,000 chapters of a comic or manga book? And Eiichiro Oda basically sleeps like 3 hours per day, and that is not sufficient to most of us. So he's basically a workaholic, a hustler. Another example of someone that I admire a lot that was a hustler is Nikola Tesla. And Nikola Tesla, for those of you who don't know, was a very big scientist. He was underrated at the time, but he contributed to the development of electrical engineering. He contributed to the development of radios, even Wi-Fi we have today. If it weren't for him, we would probably not have it. Bluetooth as well. And he was obsessed with electrical towers. So I admire him a lot. But he was also a workaholic because, like Eiichiro Oda, Nikola Tesla would sometimes sleep 3 hours or 4 hours per day. And sometimes he would even, in the middle of the night, call his colleague just to talk about the invention he was working on or something that he discovered. So he dedicated all his life to working. He even didn't have a wife and no kids. Even with these examples of hustlers, I don't recommend you hustling because there are one in a million. There are one in a million successful hustlers. Most of people that work a lot don't tend to get the best results. In fact, we end with a lot of work done but with not good quality. There is a relationship between an introvert and a hustler that I noticed. Most of workaholics I know are introverts, and I'm an introvert, so maybe that's why I became prone to being a hustler, because the introverts normally spend most of their times at home doing their own thing. So we tend to, spend most time or studying, drawing, playing video games, whatever. And when we find the passion, we are obsessed with the passion. If your passion is studying, for example, my passion is I like to learn things. I like to learn and I like geometrical design. So since these are my passions, it is normal for me to stay hooked at studying for hours and hours. But when I was a workaholic, I would be like literally an entire day with my books open and I would comprehend little. I would be wasting a lot of time reading books, but it wasn't entering quality material to my head. I don't know if you can relate to this. And after working countless hours at the office or studying countless hours at your cabinet, there is an obvious route that every hustler will eventually fall into, and that is depression. Unfortunately, depression is rising in these days, especially for my generation, Gen Z, and some millennials. One of the main causes of depression is, of course, social media. I've talked about this, but another cause is working or studying or being a hustler, because you work for X amount of hours and you don't get the best results. And since you don't get the best results, you become disappointed. Like, look, I worked for this amount of time and why I'm not getting the best results? And you become disappointed with yourself and you eventually fall into depression. So that is why I don't recommend you become a workaholic or a hustler or fall into this hustle culture. You can also end some relationships. You can become distant to your family and friends because of your work, and all sorts of bad stuff start to happen because of being a hustler. And how to finalize the video, my opinion on the hustle movement in general is, not everyone can study for, let's say, 10 hours a day or 12 hours. Not everyone can study 6 hours. It's normal, it's okay if you can only study for 1 hour, 2 hours, 4 hours. If you want to study for X amount of hours, you must work your way into that. And you must have a clear vision, a clear goal. You mustn't sit on your desk and say, okay, I want to study 6 hours. You mustn't have this vision of like, okay, I want to study for X hours because I just want to study for X hours. No. The most important thing is to understand the concepts and have a clear vision of your goals. Don't become a hustler. You'll just destroy your life. You can have the job you want or the things you always wanted, but at the expense of what? Your health. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend anyone to become part of the hustler culture. And I've seen many posts on social media, about hustling, but I don't recommend that. Anyways, this was just my advice, and I shared a little bit of my story for those of you who wondered. Um, and yeah, this was today's video, my opinion on hustle culture. If you want more videos like this, comment down below. I'm going to be uploading more often now. Um, yeah, the problem is school, life is busy. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos. Click the like button so that the YouTube algorithm will bless you with more videos similar to this one. And yeah, bye bye.